Okay, let me begin with the shilling out of the way. Please consider supporting the other channels. Please consider supporting this channel via channel memberships. And please like and sub. So, where to begin on this one? Well, I think at this point, Aaron does not have a lot of credibility with either the SPTV people or even a lot of outsiders. However, I have to say he did make a lot of good points. Now, granted, Aaron's relationship to the truth, to put it mildly, is very tension filled. That said, where to begin with even Nora? It's like, okay, it just seems that Nora's willing to give you some basic things, and as long as she sticks to that, I mean, even that she gets a lot wrong, but it's like, okay, at least she's within a range of getting things right. But as you proceed deeper down her rabbit holes, it's like, well, one, this is just not true. Two, you just keep gaslighting people, and three, it's like, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? So, Aaron put out a recent video explaining why he thinks we should not be trusting Nora, which seems mighty convenient because Nora's doing these videos, which have gotten some traction, pointing out his many, many lies and his many, many abuses, which, again, I'm there for the lying and abuses because that has been rightly pointed out. Of course, I was pointing this out, and other people were pointing this out for about a whole year before Nora, but there we go. We're not going to get any credit there because that's how the Queen Nora rules work. But once we get beyond those very basic points about Aaron, yeah, Nora doesn't have too much to say. So, what did Aaron bring up that is making me question Nora's credibility, what there is of it? Well, we'll put the complexities aside because it has to do with how real estate operates, right? And Aaron is into real estate. So basically, Nora called him up. And again, in her life, she did acknowledge this happened, although she thinks Aaron distorted wildly what she was saying. So apparently, Nora's wife, for whatever reason, noticed some kind of Scientology building. There was something funny or weird going on with the real estate. They alerted Aaron, and Aaron is like, well, do you have anything rock solid, right? Like any actual official paperwork? They did not, but Nora kept insisting, talk to my wife. Now, why is this important? I don't even know, and Aaron was also puzzled. I guess the idea is that they were doing what's known as double dipping in real estate, and I looked it up, and it doesn't seem like they were doing double dipping. It just seemed Nora was very confused. So the basic gist is they were looking at these couple of buildings, and Nora insisted they were selling it off, but somehow defrauding someone. And Aaron is like, no, 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 there doesn't seem to be any fraud going on. And so, anyway, Nora was just wasting his time. Now, Nora has reconstructed the event to try to make it sound more plausible, but you do ask yourself simple questions. Okay, fine. Aaron didn't go with this idea. So, allegedly, Nora had this very devastating secret of real estate shenanigans. And let's be clear, the church does do that. So you think to yourself, okay, this happened in August, September, right, October, December. So she's had for what, 4 months, this devastating real estate criminal racket? Did she alert anyone? Did she try to do anything on this? Because according to her, she's got this incredible knowledge. She and her wife, and again, I usually don't ever try to bring in a spouse, but Nora explicitly brought this in. And then she was whining and crying in her channel, like, and you brought my wife, blah, 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 blah. Well, accordingly, you agreed that your wife, for whatever reason, saw something and has a major testimony that will destroy Scientology. Okay, whatever. Has anything been done? Has Scientology been shut down with this secret now out there? Not as far as I know. And even the point she was trying to make, well, it's really weird how sometimes Scientology has two or three addresses for a building. Right, right. Like the Hollywood Testing Center seems to have two different addresses, but it's for the same building. But it's like, yeah, that can happen, right? But Aaron was pointing out these seem to be two radically different buildings. Like one building is 10 stories, the other building is 5 stories. These cannot be the same building. So it's just different cases. It's like apples and oranges. This is just basic epistemology. And again, Nora just kept doubling down. So it just seems like, okay, yeah, Nora will tell you the truth on a few things, but she is just lost in conspiracy land. And that's the real subject here. And again, I am not saying don't do conspiracy theories, especially with Scientology. Sometimes conspiracy theories will yield good results. I'm not against conspiracy thinking per se. Like Oliver Stone is a very serious artist in person. He does things with conspiracy thinking and conspiracy theories, but he's careful, right? He doesn't endorse every single conspiracy theory. There are limits, there are boundaries. So if you're into JFK and who, quote, really shot him, hey, you know, go crazy. I've done a lot of research on this. Apparently, the best guess it is the CIA. Do I really care? Not really. I mean, it may tell us a little bit about policy in Vietnam, a little bit, but for whatever reason, people are obsessed with it, and there are questions to be asked. So the point here is, it's fine if that's what you want to do. I try to be balanced. I look at, quote, mainstream history and sometimes conspiracy history, and there we are. But Nora just, for the most part, relies upon conspiracy history and conspiracy theories, and her reasoning is just so stupid. You're like, well, you're really discrediting a lot more serious good work by people like Stone and other more serious conspiracy theorists. You may not like these people, but they put some serious effort into their theories. Nora just puts like almost zero effort. And I think we know why, unfortunately. There's this well known phenomenon known as Dunning-Kruger effect. And again, a lot of people get that wrong. I'm going to try to be a little bit more precise. Usually it's said that, well, if you're, quote, dumb, you don't know how dumb you are, so you overestimate your intelligence and just get a lot of things wrong. To be more precise, it's that you have a certain set of skills. And again, you could be pretty good, but you reach a limit. And instead of acknowledging the limit, you keep going further and further and further, but you don't know what you're doing. So it's really about a theory of skills and how your cognition works on certain relationships. And again, which is just unfortunate, but most people do overestimate how much they know or how much they can know. So, hence the Dunning Kruger effect that people who are very much amateurs have no real clue what the hell they're talking about, just keep pontificating and offer up expert opinions on things they don't really know what the hell they're talking about. Now, ironically, Aaron suffers from the same problem. Well, he will boast that he knows X, Y, Z, but then you double check and he doesn't really know what he's talking about. But I would have to say, relatively speaking, on this precise area, I mean, Aaron does know a few things. I mean, he does know real estate. He's done it. Normally doesn't know anything about real estate, but she just keeps babbling on and on and on. And it's sort of like, okay, I mean, I get it. She's got a YouTube channel. You got to produce content. But really, it's like, we're just chasing our tail for no reason. And this is serious business because, and this is where I'm going to end it, is that she's doing this thing now, and she's done it for a while, and it was morally disgusting back then, and it's even more morally disgusting now. Where at the end of the video, she posts these pictures of victims of Scientology, and some of these are real victims, and I'm like, what you're doing is totally moronic and stupid, and that's fine. That's her life. She wants to make money on YouTube. I'm trying to make money on YouTube. Blah 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 blah. But I would be very hesitant to just evoke or bring up the memory of Lisa McPherson for no reason. I think that's very problematic. She just does it freely. Well, listen, at the end of the day, right, I'm not saying this would be a good thing, but let's say Aaron gets rid of the channel. Let's say Aaron destroys Nora's channel. Do I really think this is going to harm Lisa McPherson's memory? No, you have to be honest, saying it would actually help her a lot because if the advocates for Lisa McPherson are people like Nora, then that's just sad and silly. It's just really, really sad. And Lisa is only one of the persons that Nora's just blatantly using their imagery, and you're like, did you get permission from the family to do this? Because I don't think they would approve of what you're up to at all, at all. And in fact, I know pretty rock solid because, again, I'm not going to name names because it's anonymity. I respect people's privacy. I know damn sure, almost like 99% sure, that one person is not going to approve of you using the imagery of a victim. So she's just running crazy with all these bad conspiracy theories, just really very flawed knowledge at very best. I'm being very generous there, saying flawed knowledge, and just putting out a lot of rampaging nonsense. And again, I get it. It's YouTube. She needs to make money. She has kids, but we're reaching a limit here. Her kids are growing up. So after a certain point, they're not going to be children anymore. They're adults. So what's her excuse for just putting out a lot of nonsense and just wasting our time? I don't know. I don't know. And this isn't even the worst of it. I mean, she just blatantly admitted saying, whoa, with Mr. Scoville, I just didn't know. I found out with like you guys. You just found out? This thing has been talked about for about 2 years. What are you talking about? You just found out. How stupid are you? So it's just, it's all very sad and tragic that, again, Aaron is definitely lying to us almost all the time, but he does sometimes tell the truth. And you'd have to admit here, like, the Nora gap of knowledge is huge. It's huge. And she's just not improving. She's just doubling down on her really weak conspiracy theories because she just refuses to do any real work, and so she's just discrediting the work of much better people, better activists, and victims who are not authorizing her to just invoke their deaths for her really questionable shilling and grifting, in my humble opinion.